Hello. I'm opening things up. I'm getting ready to go. The lighting is fine, I guess. It looks a little dark. Looks a little dark on this side. Anyways, let's go to live chat. Good afternoon, Jason. Hello, Alex from Down Under. Hello, Crazy Dave. Hi, Danny. Akron, Ohio. Fun. That's not too far. Hello, Asaf. Crazy Dave. Danny. Geneva, Switzerland. Vilma's Board Gaming Diary. Hello, looking forward to hearing about your UKGE experience. Ooh, I'll talk about that, I guess. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. Anyways, Coffee Addict. I love the name. Hello from Germany. I'm going to Essen too at some point. I'm going to Essen at some point. This year. Like this year. So when I say some point, I mean the dates that Essen are. Okay, what else are we? Shocked about CMON. What happened with CMON? You mean the sale? What do you think about CMON selling? Oh yes, Clash with Doom. Okay. Worcester, Ohio. Is there a Worcester, Ohio? I didn't realize that. Ryan, Toronto, Canada. Mentor, Ohio. What is with the locations today? Clash with Doom. What do you think about CMON selling their IPs? Let's start with that, I guess. That didn't make its way into last week's news and week in review because I filmed that in advance and didn't really have any news, and I heard about that while I was on the way or at UKGE. I think it makes sense. There have been Board Game Wire, maybe a year ago. They did a report on CMON possibly selling their IPs, and nothing ever seemed to come of that. And I think later there was an update that that deal didn't go through, so whatever deal that was didn't really happen. But that said, it makes sense that CMON would sell some IPs. I don't know what the exact plans are, but effectively it is pretty clear that CMON has, to some extent, overextended themselves in some way. I don't know what the future looks like for them. It looks like they kind of... Like, the part that always baffles me is you hear things like them taking on new IPs from Mythic. And I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I mean, I know sometimes what goes on behind closed doors, but I wouldn't talk with those. In the case of CMON, I have no idea what goes on with their decisions. To me, it's always interesting when I see certain things. And some of those things give me hope, but that doesn't mean that there should be hope. Sometimes it's people making bad business decisions. So, to me, if you are overextended with a lot of IPs, don't buy new IPs. You have plenty. So why did that happen? Don't know. I have no clue what happened there. Similarly, I know that CMON is still maintaining payroll in a way that I don't think I would do if I was shutting down. So they must still think that things are going well, but who knows? I've talked about this a lot with Storm Thunder too. When I look at them posting updates every month. Like, if you're gonna just cancel and bail, just go away at this point. Why do you keep posting updates and setting yourself up for attack each time? So I sometimes am victim to looking at what people are doing, reading into that as if it makes sense certain ways, and sometimes it just doesn't, so who really knows? But overall, I think it makes sense that CMON needs a cash infusion in order to get them over this hill, this bump, and I don't know the exact deal they made. I would hope that it was favorable enough. And what I mean by favorable enough, I'm going to just make up stuff here because I have no idea. But let's pretend that all those IPs collectively bring them, I don't know, $500,000 a year in retail sales. Because CMON is both a crowdfunding company and a retail company. They have strong presence in both. So if all those IPs are making them $500,000 a year in sales, then for them to be worth it to sell it, you want to get at least $1 million. Generally, they say 2 times, year over year is what you want to get. For when you're selling a business, you look at 2-year revenue, and that's at least what you want to get out of it. So you'd want to get at least $1 million. All you have to figure out costs of goods versus total sales. But the point is, let's say they're making them $500,000 profit each year. At that point, you want to get at least $1 million on the sale, because that gives you the 2-year return. Because otherwise, if you sell it for less than that, at the end of 2 years, you're now looking at making less money. So you have to make those decisions, and they're complicated. But overall, it makes sense to me. Let's see, Brian, hello campers, Jason, I shocked about CMON, nice, would love to walk into a spiel. Yeah, I will be at spiel, but you, me, and 143,998 other people. I think there were 144,000 people, which is why I said that. I think that was the quote. That was the number. I mean, not exactly, obviously, but nonetheless. Ryan, pure speculation, what do you think the acquiring company will do with Blood Rage Rises on Ankh? What would you like to see? I think the company that acquired them is Tabletop Tycoon. Tabletop Tycoon likes to milk what they have. So I would expect to see all of them returning to crowdfunding. That's what I'd expect to see. Will it happen? No idea. But I would expect to see all of those games returning to crowdfunding in some way, as well as a retail presence. Sorry. Aaron, I wish Clash of Clans would set a date for the crowdfunding. I'm getting tired of being bombarded by ads to say coming soon. Yeah, I thought it was supposed to launch like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and it didn't happen, so I don't actually know when it's launching anymore. Jacob, just back to Agricola. I'm a little bummed that the cards won't fit in one box. I'd rather a box size of Foundations of Rome with everything in it, but there's multiple smaller boxes to dig through. I agree with you. I think it's always a balance of how you approach sleevers versus non-sleevers versus all-in. You can't make everyone happy no matter what. So the question is always, who do you try to make happy, and who gets relegated to the, secondary camp. So it's hard. It's always hard. Shadow of War, you see Agricola campaign. I'm so overwhelmed. I haven't actually looked at the Agricola campaign. Let me go ahead and look it up right now. Let's see where we're at. I believe it launched an hour ago. So let me go to GameFound. Pop this up over here. It should be on the first page somewhere, I assume. Agricola, 470,000 euro, which is certainly not bad. That is 470,000 euro. Generally, I would guess, based on where things are right now, I would guess we're looking at around, honestly, my guess hasn't changed. Yesterday, I guessed 4.5 million. Although technically I was thinking dollars, and this is euro, so technically it's more than that. But yesterday I mentally guessed 4.5 million. My conservative guess was 3.5. My conservative guess, and my actual guess was closer to 4.5. Based on currently how it's going, I would say that is very potentially on point. I think 4.5 million is very doable based on the current numbers. But I haven't looked past that. Like, there's so many things there. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. I'll look over it later. Maybe I'll do a full should you back it video. I don't do the should you back it video so much anymore. I probably should do a full should you back it video. But I'm also always mindful about that too. Like, I don't like doing dedicated Awakened Realms coverage in a way that I don't do for other companies. And I think as I slowly phased out of doing should you back videos, I shifted to only doing like companies that I really liked and had a strong, like, it's Ship Theory Games and it's Awakened Realms and CMON. But then with CMON doing less and Ship Theory Games, their campaigns are like 2 a year, I don't know. I'll probably still do should you back it, but they're very much a callback to an older time when I used to do those videos. You see, okay, did White Death arrive yet? No, White Death did not arrive yet. I'm anxiously awaiting it, if that helps, but it did not actually arrive. I got a shipping notification, but that only gets me so far, and I haven't checked it because I don't generally check my shipping notifications. But I am very excited for White Death. I told my son, he was very excited. I told him I got the shipping notification. I had literally just given him, because I came back from UKGE, so I bought my kids Lego, just because they all like Lego, so why not? And it was in duty free, and I hadn't thought ahead in advance. So I bought my kids Lego, and I literally just given him the Lego, and he was like playing with that excitedly. And then I told him about the White Death, and he was so much more excited for White Death than the Lego he was playing with in front of him. Then he asked me each day since then. I told him 2 days ago? What's today? 3 days ago. I told him 3 days ago. And every day since then, he has asked me whether White Death has arrived yet. So he's very excited. I should probably, let's check the tracking. We're going to go ahead. We're doing all kinds of distractions right now. White Death. Let's see. I need to ship things out. If you're a Patreon or Ko-Fi member waiting on stuff, I need to ship things out. I apologize. Okay, CMON. Nope, not this one. Confirmation. Nope, not that one. Any looking trash. Yeah, I have a bunch of games I just gave away over on Patreon/Ko-Fi, and I have not shipped them out because I did that right before UKGE, which was not good timing. And now I'm playing catch up on everything post UKGE. Speaking of which, by the way, this is going to go to 2 o'clock and then not further, just because I don't have the bandwidth right now. I'm kind of desperately playing catch up with everything. Track your package. FedEx. Okay. It looks like this tracking is not opening. Delivery date today. It's expected between 12:10, it's past 12:10, and 2:10. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's out for delivery. So thank you for that. Thank you for whatever conversation we started here, because now I know that White Death is coming today. And I'm excited for it. And more importantly, my son is excited for it, which means when he asks me today if it's coming or if it came yet, I'll be able to say, yes, it has. It's a good day. It's a good day for everyone. Okay. I'd love to see instead of the StarCraft game, I would love to see instead the StarCraft game. I'm saving to buy it instead of Warhammer 40k. I don't think I follow that fully. I think I missed something. Ryan, Alex, in the real chance that CMON cannot deliver their existing campaigns as the biggest crowdfunding business, how do you think that would affect the perception of crowdfunding in general? badly. Badly. I always say the same thing here. Crowdfunding never dies. Nothing dies from any one thing, but everything is slivers, meaning effectively, if the board game industry is growing year over year, then on average, you would expect crowdfunding to grow year over year. So let's just make up numbers here. Let's say the board game industry is growing at 10% a year. I think it's 14%, but honestly, my numbers are out of date, and I have no clue how tariffs and COVID and all this stuff affected things. But let's pretend it's growing at 10% for simple math. You'd expect crowdfunding, all things being even, to grow at 10% a year as well. So a 10% growth in the crowdfunding space would be expected if the gaming industry is growing. The question is all the things that shift that. And so there's a lot of things that could shift that. For example, number one is the assumption that crowdfunding grows alongside board gaming is an assumption. It's not a guarantee. You could have the board game industry growing through retail operations, but not crowdfunding. So there's assumptions at play here. But that said, the biggest thing that happens is confidence. Every single time something changes in crowdfunding, you lose slivers of people. When Mythic goes under, you don't lose everyone, but you do lose some percentage. Is it 3%, 2%, 4%? Or is it that you don't lose a single person per se, but you lose a percentage of the purchases? Maybe the next time I'm backing a campaign, I question whether I should actually get it or not. I certainly have backed a lot. I used to back, way back when, I used to back 10 to 15 campaigns a month. And I slowed down through a combination of reasons. I slowed down because in general I was getting backlogged in games. That's a factor as well. I slowed down because I started a series on my channel called Unfair and Unbalanced, where I tried to convince people not to back, and I started listening to myself to save money. I was like, why do you need every single thing? And I slowed down because crowdfunding was not the same deal that it was. You didn't get the same level of good pricing. And that's something that was a permanent consequence of COVID. So every single time you're looking at a pool, you always lose slivers from any number of different things. So I assume that CMON going under would definitely be a blow, and a lot of people who had invested money, people who had spent a lot of money on CMON campaigns are less likely to back something else when they've lost a lot of money. People looking at the sidelines are less likely to back. Crowdfunding doesn't go away, but maybe it loses 4% of its entire volume. Maybe it loses 8% of its entire volume. It's not easy to say. And then at some point, maybe it loses 8% right away, and that slowly reduces. Like maybe the first year you lose 8% because people are really feeling it. Maybe the second year you lose 7%. There's all kinds of adjustments from this, because I mean, again, like if I stop backing because of CMON, 4 years later, maybe I'm willing to back again. So I would expect a decreasing impact and possibly some degree of permanent impact. It's hard to predict these things, but I think the main thing I would say is crowdfunding doesn't go away, and some degree of lower backing is expected. It's not a very helpful answer. I'm saying it has an impact, but that's it. Kevin, the big issue for CMON is the big franchise they're paying money to. Marvel and DC are not cheap. I would assume that. Aaron Taylor, I'm sure the smarter pledge to get money back would be the third Agricola, but I like the wooden more. The 3D Agricola, not the third Agricola, but I like the wooden more. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I will say this. Having had the Puerto Rico prototype, I was very impressed with the actual miniatures going on there, and I don't think I'd actually cared before that, but I actually kind of do like them. I'll have to check the Agricola campaign at some point. I did see from the pre-launch page the wooden animeeples, and those looked great. The miniatures looked fine, but I definitely agree with you that I kind of like the wooden animeeples more. It's kind of like Castle Burgundy. I like having a few castles, but honestly I like the acrylic pieces more than I do the miniatures, and use most of those most plays. 1. What skirmish games do you currently prefer now that you've cooled down on some? So, are you referring to area control or skirmish? Skirmish I was never super big in. I don't know. I'd have to look around as far as what I even have. Like, I do have some skirmish games, I think, but skirmish is not the genre that I was ever huge on. There were a few games that I played in skirmish. For me, it's area control that I played a ton once upon a time and have cooled down a lot on. I am still looking forward to Bloodstones from Druid City Games. No idea when that will happen. Crazy Dave, can't wait for the WD unboxing. What's the WD? White Death unboxing. Yes, White Death, yes. Brian, Kevin, that is a good point. That is the reason the Black Panther game was canceled. Licensing of these properties can be 30% of sales. Then they have to find profit. Yeah, absolutely. That's why if you look back at Zombicide campaigns from CMON, they kind of jumped from the 100 to 110, 120 mark as soon as they were doing more IP stuff. So, yeah, there's a reason for that price point. Ryan, thoughts on the Lord of the Rings Pandemic? I liked it. I one play, well, 1.5 plays if you count the fact that I'm currently in the middle of playing it on Board Game Arena 2. I played it at UKGE. Oh, I guess I'll talk about UKGE soon. So I played Pandemic, The Fate of the Fellowship. The Fate of the Fellowship. I played that at UKGE with Matt Leacock, which is pretty cool because I've never actually met him before. But anyways, I played Fate of the Fellowship. I walked into it nervous is the wrong word, I didn't care. Uncertain as to whether I'd like it. I was excited for it, but I was uncertain. The reason for that is because The last Pandemic game that I was excited for was the Clone Wars one. I've been excited for a lot of Pandemic games in general, but I was excited for the Clone Wars one, and that was a big miss for me. I did not care for that one at all. I felt it didn't capture the feel at all. It felt like a pasted-on IP thing. I just didn't care for it. Fun fact, by the way, Matt Leacock apparently did not work on that one. Apparently he's worked on most Pandemics, but like 3 or 4 of them he hasn't, and that's one of the 3 or 4 he has not. So I was walking into a Lord of the Rings Pandemic being like, hey, I know they're putting more work into this, they're definitely marketing it more, there seems to be more going on, but the last IP one did not work for me. That said, I played it and I really enjoyed it. Now, multiple caveats. It is one play, again, 1.5 if you count the Board Game Arena game in the middle of. And also, yeah, it was one play. That's the main caveat. I don't know I said multiple caveats. One caveat. It is one play. So I need to play it more properly. I have a copy coming my way, so I will be playing it more in person as well as on BGA. And I will say I don't mind it on BGA, but I definitely like it more in person, primarily because I play on Board Game Arena mostly asynchronous, and you really want to be table talking as you go, because like a big mechanic of the game is dragging people along with you, which is very thematic because you're going on these journeys. So normal Pandemic, if I move, you don't move with me. In Fate of the Fellowship, if I move, you can choose to move with me. But like making those decisions on BGA when you're playing it asynchronous, like, hey, do you want to move with me? It's not the same. I'm enjoying it, but I definitely prefer it in person. But I liked it. I think I posted this in an Instagram post overall, but overall I liked how it felt very thematic. You constantly felt hunted by the various, the riders and Sauron and all that. You felt hunted. You felt overwhelmed. Definitely chaotic as you play. You felt that the thematic aspect of traveling together and then branching off into your own little things happens a lot. There's a lot of like, let's break up and do our thing. Oh, look, we're joining back up together. Let's break off and do our thing. So it really had that feel from the IP, which I enjoyed. And it was highly variable. There's like 24 missions, and you always play with destroying the ring. That's always in play. That's the last mission you have to do. Throw the ring into the fires of Mount Doom. But then the other 3 missions are all over the place. So like you get a very different degree of missions that you're trying to do, combined with, of course, the randomness of how things develop. Overall, it probably felt less Pandemic-like than many Pandemic games. It is built on the same structure, but loosely so. Like you have 4 actions per turn. There is a degree of repeat hits as you draw cards. Like it's definitely clearly built on the Pandemic infrastructure, but it felt less Pandemic-like than many games, but it did feel thematic, enjoyable, and challenging. So I like it. Based on 1.5 plays, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to playing it more. Clash with Doom, please do a live unboxing. No, I can't. Not with my kids. I don't know if I'll ever do live content with the kids. I think this, maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I debated even putting the kids on camera. Because I'm going to, for those who are missing, when it comes to White Death, I will be doing an unboxing. My son, Rafiki, will definitely be joining me. Others might join, we'll see, but he was looking forward to that for a while. That makes it a chaotic unboxing. Some of you like it, some of you do not like it. Up to you if you like it or not, that's completely on you. But I debated putting my kids on camera in general, especially at that age, but they like doing it. It's something that, like, the reason I decided to do it is they really enjoy the activity. Like, my son doesn't just like playing with games, he actively asks me to film videos. And I say no a lot of the time because I don't want to overexpose, I don't want to do it too much, I don't want to overexpose it. But they actively like doing videos with me, so I do try to do it as a fun little activity, like, look what I'm doing, and they get to join, and it's fun, and it's cool. And he likes to rewatch them. He goes back and rewatches his unboxings or whatever videos he's done with me. He enjoys that. He likes watching other people's content too. Like, he'll watch just any generic content on the games he likes. But live is like a different level, and I don't know. I don't feel comfortable putting my kids on live. Like, anything can happen live. Anything can happen. Like, what does that actually mean? No idea. I think I'm just being paranoid, but like, you lose, like, the worst possible thing can happen in a film video, and I could just, never post it. That's an easy solution. Not that I've ever had to do that, but just, I don't know. I think I'd be hesitant to do live content. Kevin, I stopped crowdfunding because of the bloat and just the massive delays and lies. Yes, I understand that. ACS, hello ACS. LC, do you think that Great in the Games can pull through and recover eventually? So if you saw the most recent update, they did seem to, like, the most recent update on Sentinels of the Multiverse Desperation did seem to imply that they are still trying to deliver that. Do I think they'll pull through? No idea. I think the bigger question to me is, where will those IPs land? I don't know for sure the situation, but I assume Flat River Group owns those IPs. If you're not making the games, you may as well sell the IP to someone who wants to make those games, because Sentinels Multiverse and Spirit Island and Compile are all 3 very popular IPs. Well, very popular is relative. Compile is too new to say for sure. The other 2 have staying power, that's clear. So I would imagine you'd want to sell them if you're not going to make them. but I don't know the structure there, so uncertain. Sean, yeah, but your kids interrupting you while you're live is cute and funny. Have my kids ever done anything live? You're saying that would be cute and funny, or that has been cute and funny? I don't think my kids have ever done anything live, and it would be cute and funny to a degree, but again, I don't know. I might just be being paranoid here. I might change my mind. It's just instinctive. Have you played Apiary on Board Game Arena? What's your opinion? I don't think I have. I've played Apiary a lot. I don't think I've played on Board Game Arena. I don't know if I knew it was on Board Game Arena. I'm going to go start a game of it because I like Apiary. Ben Britton, have you gotten any more plays of Betrayal of the Second Era or Iridia in? What is your gap in enjoyment between the two? Betrayal of the Second Era. Oh, or Iridia. So it depends from when. I have played Betrayal of the Second Era since reviewing it. I have played Iridia since reviewing it. I haven't played either in the past, like, month and a half at least. So overall, my opinion, what is my gap in enjoyment? I prefer Betrayal of the Second Era. I prefer Betrayal. Iridia is a better story in RPG, but Betrayal of the Second Era is better mechanics, and I think I am more of a mechanics person. Both of them have their downsides. The main downside of Betrayal to me is it's just a long game. Like, you're committing to a long setup and playtime and all that, which makes it harder to table. The main downside of Iridia is it's a campaign game, and honestly, the thing I found most frustrating, I think I said this in my review, the thing I found most frustrating is sometimes you get, like, a key or a clue, and you're like, I don't know where it is. I don't know. I haven't played this in a month. I have no clue where, like, what? Go to the thing, find something that has the text at the golden leaf door. And you're like, I may have seen that 7 times. I don't remember. So that's the thing I found most frustrating. And I do think that as time goes on, the willingness to dive back into Iridia, knowing that I have to kind of remember where things are or just hunt through cards, that is it's a big disincentive from diving back into it. Now, I loved Iridia when I was first playing through it. Kevin! Oh my gosh, Kevin, you prince. It definitely was a big disincentive. It is a big disincentive to dive back into it, having not played it in at least a month. So, will I still play it? As of right now, I still have hope. It's still set up underneath this table over here, but we'll see. Kevin, you are a prince. Thank you, and also good to see you. Kevin, where are you these days? You're not in the U.S. anymore, are you? Because I think last we talked, you were not in the U.S. anymore. Crazy Dave, we might hear FedEx ring the doorbell. Actually, that kind of makes me want to grab my phone. Historically, CMON packages don't require signing, at least for me. So I should be fine. Okay, my phone's over there charging right now. I'm going to leave it as is. And it won't ring the doorbell because I got a ring. Not a ring. I have a Eufy, which is like a ring, and it only rings to my phone, which is on mute. On your video on games cooling off, you mentioned Roleplay Adventures. I'm still very early on. Was curious how far through the campaign did you start to drop off for you? So, it's a rough recollection. I did finish the campaign, but about halfway through, I was only interested in the story and less interested in the mechanics. Roughly halfway through. The first half was like a lot of growing and feeling cooler and more powerful, and the second half was like, I'm winning everything. So, like, I don't care about the mechanics anymore because now it feels like an exercise in go through the steps, but you know the outcome. And that was just less fun for me. It was very repetitive what you're doing too, which doesn't help. Like, I don't mind winning stuff, but it was very repetitive in terms of what you're doing. So I really like Roleplay Adventures. I still recommend it to people, but recommending it with the knowledge that for me there was definitely a drop-off in the mechanical enjoyment of it. I do believe it's something they tried to address in the expansion. I only ever played the expansion as a prototype. I never dove back into it, so don't know how well that was addressed. Brian, understand we need to protect your kids from the internet, plus there's always the risk you turn away, and the next thing you know, they're wearing their pants on their heads. Kids are weird. Yes, 100%. So, I think the biggest challenge I've had, in terms of like, and it's not a big thing, but like, when doing recorded content, sometimes they go off the rails to the point that I have to rein them in. And so like that, like, it's just a little too chaotic, even for me. That's not a big deal though. That could happen live and I'd be fine with it. But I guess it's more the, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they do. Like, who knows? Who knows what happens? I see. Is there ever an incentive for corporations to refuse selling IPs and letting said IPs die? Great question. I am not an expert in this category. I do know that, movie companies have literally written off movies they've made because they're like, hey, the tax write-off for this of the money we lost is better than releasing it. I've never fully understood the math in that. I am not an expert on how to trash your own production that you've made for the best tax write-off. I hate the concept of it. Like, I absolutely despise the concept that it might be more monetarily beneficial to destroy something and never let it see the light of day. But, like, that is the world we live in. So, maybe. I'm not an expert. Jacob Justice, do you know much about the upcoming set expansion? I hope they had a prelude-like set of cards to speed the game up. Yes. The new set expansion includes 4 things, if I can recall this correctly. It includes a prelude-like expansion that speeds up the game. I believe they are lowering it to 4 rounds, although I don't know if that's with the prelude expansion or without, so that might be a separate thing. And that's making the game shorter, but then giving you the speed-up effect of prelude. Then it also adds... although I will say, from speaking to them at UKGE, which I still haven't talked about yet, from speaking to them at UKGE, it did sound like that it wouldn't change the length that much because it gives you more asymmetric abilities, so you have more stuff you can do that's interesting. So it speeds up the game a little bit, but then slows it down a little bit, evens out to net whatever. Then there's 3 new alien corporations, and something else. Alien corporations, I can't believe that. Alien races. There's 3 new alien races. Okay. What am I forgetting? I feel there's something else. It was 4 things. Prelude, 4 rounds, 3 alien races. Something else. I don't remember. Do you know much about the upcoming study? Brian, Rafi's been live for a few minutes doing camp co-op live streams. Oh yeah, that was fun. I do remember. They would sometimes interrupt live. That was cute. Oh, I miss those. Camp co-op was a different vibe. Camp co-op was a much smaller and friendlier vibe. I miss camp co-op. I don't have nights. I don't know. My schedule, I don't know at what point my life changes. In the sense that, like, I'm always busy, and I think, if I recall correctly, Camp Co-op started when I was, like, between jobs or going full-time. And GameFound, as much as you don't necessarily see it, GameFound takes up a lot of my time. And so, between doing GameFound, BoardGameCo, fun, kids, family, all that stuff, I don't actually have time at all, ever. I'm always behind, I'm always scrambling, but it's a choice. I don't want to give any of the things I've been giving, I don't want to give any of the things up, so I just deal with it, and I like what I do, so it works, but it definitely, I would love if I could just get a week of not having to do anything. That'd be nice, but in the meantime, I love what I do. Also, like, kids aren't forever, and I don't mean that in a dark, dying way. I mean that in a, you know, my youngest is 5, so, like, what, I have 15 years before they take up no time at all, but then I get that time back, but I don't have the same, it's sad as far as what I lose, and it's nice to have time, but let's see. Okay, any recommendations on getting a game that's been stuck with Quartermaster Logistics? Campaign author has gone quiet on us. Contacting QML is obviously a good starting point, but I assume you've already tried that, and I assume they're probably dealing with a ton of this kind of stuff, so I don't have an easy answer. James Sullivan, FYI, I received my shipping notice for Nemesis Retaliation in Texas. I don't even know if they're going to send it to me. So sometimes this thing, and this is like first world problems, this is not a real problem. Sometimes, like when I cover games, sometimes I'm excited and I want the game. Other times I'm not excited and I don't care if I get the game. And sometimes I get games that I don't care about, and I'm like, that's why if you look at my end of the year giveaways, usually the big box games that I give away are either extra copies when I backed it and they sent it to me. That happens, like, because if I really like a game and I'm not sure if I'm getting a copy, I back it. Like, I put my money where my mouth is. And I mean, sometimes I end up with an extra copy from a publisher. And then other times I didn't actually care about the game and I end up with an extra copy or an only copy from a publisher. And in those cases, I always feel bad because, like, meaning they're usually doing it because I did coverage for the game. So it's not that they're sending me a review copy, it's that I already did the coverage and now they're sending me a copy, which is great. It has a monetary value. I can sell that. But more often than not, those go into my end-of-year giveaways. That's why I have all these intriguing games that go into my end-of-year giveaways, because I'm like, hey, it's a win-win there. This way, at least I'm giving it away. I feel, like, better about that. Like, I could sell it. I don't feel the worst, but, like, I don't love it. But then also, it's good for the channel, so it's a win-win. ACS, did you finish the Primal campaign? Yes. I'm currently in the middle of the second campaign. That's a different story. So I'm 3/4 of the way through my second Primal campaign. Plus, of course, having played it single shot as well. Okay, whole lot of subs from Kevin, because I need to catch up to those. Kevin, that's way too many. Way too many. Cool, cool, cool. Gift to myself a Prime membership. I love it. I mean, not Prime, a membership. Kevin, thanks so much. From one Kevin to another, thank you. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. I need to hunt down more articles about the business and economics of board games. Yeah, there's a lot. Clash with Doom, question, what do you get with the subscription to the channel? Fun fact, question, I don't know why I said fun fact. Fun question. So generally what I do is, so the subscription to the channel just means you get the behind the scenes stuff, which usually means a update every Monday, or every other Monday at this point, I'm not consistent about it, as to the schedule of the week. When I do my Unfair and Unbalanced series, which is basically where I try to convince you not to back anything on crowdfunding, that goes up on the channel as well. These all go to Patreon, Ko-Fi, and channel members. And that's the main stuff. So it's like extra content, which is generally 1 or 2 things a week. Plus, of course, the joy of knowing that you're supporting the channel. Oh, and a star next to your name. What, Crazy Dave, what IP would CMON have to part with to make you think they were doomed? That's a great question. None. My instinctive answer would be Zombicide. That was my first thought. My second thought is Marvel United. And then my third thought is none. Because as soon as you have 2, then it's totally reasonable to part with 1 to save the company. Meaning I don't know CMON's entire situation. I know that clearly they're trying to make things work. So if they have 2 massive IPs, because my first thought was Zombicide, my second thought was Marvel United. But as soon as you have 2, that means you have a lifeline. You have a product that you can rally around to a degree, plus, of course, all the other stuff you do. So if you have to sell Zombicide to support Marvel United plus whatever else they do, that's already good enough. Now, if they got rid of all of their stuff, if they got rid of Marvel United and Zombicide, at that point, I just hope the money they get helps them deliver things, and I'll still pay attention to their stuff, but, like, yeah, that is, like, kind of more of a question at that point. But as long as they have a singular main lifeline to rally around, which again, I think it's... Am I missing anything? I think it's... Oh no, Cthulhu and Cthulhu May Die. They have 3 incredibly popular IPs. Cthulhu May Die, Zombicide, and Marvel United. I would say given the sheer amount of Zombicide, from a business perspective, I think Zombicide would be the one that makes the most sense to sell. Like way back when I heard they were selling an IP, I thought Zombicide might be... Maybe that was what they had in mind. And maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe they changed to whatever it is now. But Zombicide to me makes the most sense to sell, because I think people are getting a little exhausted with how much Zombicide there is, and that's like, it's not a dead IP, not by any means, not based on the campaigns, but that's the one I think that makes the most sense. Brian, there are IPs, no, wait, there are IPs that have a requirement for us to maintain ownership. This is the reason we get bad movies and games like Fantastic Four, Lord of the Rings. Yes, 100% true. I know that Fantastic Four in particular, they have a license to, like, do all that stuff. Rain, Board Game Bullocks mentioned you. He saw you at UKG. He said you were very nice. Oh my gosh, Board Game Bullocks was the first person I ran into at UKG. I was fanboying so hard, and it's weird because I don't usually like fanboy. Like usually I just like, hey, we're all like people in the industry, but like I've never interacted with him in any way. Many other content creators I've interacted with, I've never interacted with Board Game Bullocks. I think his channel is fantastic. It's high production quality and something different than other people are doing. And so I think his stuff is fantastic. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even think I'd ever see you, but like. I definitely was not like as confident as I could have been. Professor Meg, should we bring back Camp Co-op? When, Meg? When do we bring back Camp Co-op? I'm open to it, but I think it has to be during the day. At this point, my nights are too restrictive as it is. I feel like I already don't have enough nights. I am open to the conversation, but it would almost certainly not have to be consistent, or I don't know. We can talk, Meg. Primarily, if we use it to play games that were backlogged anyway, that would be great. Jason, how did UKG compare to the other conventions you've been to? So, UKG, let's talk about UKG, and then let's see how we're doing in chat. We're doing 138 right now. We're doing fine on time. Brian, if you bring back Camp Co-op, you have to play Gloomhaven. No. Meg, let's do it the 8th day of the week. No, that's basically when. Okay, I'll catch up to all that second. Let's talk about UKGE. UKGE was very fun, with the caveat that it wasn't more fun than other conventions I've been to, and it's more travel and cost to go there. So the reason I went to UKGE was on behalf of GameFound, meaning effectively, Essen is something I always wanted to go to as a gamer and a fan, so whether it makes sense from a business perspective from BoardGameCo, I always plan to go into Essen at some point. UKG doesn't have that distinction. UKGE is more the size of PAX Unplugged, and it doesn't have like the size and craziness that, Essen does. So it's the cost of international travel, which isn't cheap. It's the jet lag of international travel, which isn't fun, and so UKG was never really heavily on my radar. Because of GameFound, though, I went on behalf of GameFound. Now, whenever I go to any convention, I end up doing both. Whether I go as BoardGameCo, inherently I do GameFound. When I go as GameFound, I do BoardGameCo. They overlap very synergistically. Like, I met with CGE while at UKGE. They don't do crowdfunding, so I had nothing to do with, GameFound. That was pure BoardGameCo. But the other BoardGameCo meetings I took end up transitioning to GameFound anyways because I'm doing both. But that said, so I went because of GameFound. They footed the bill for me to go, which was very nice. The overall experience, I don't think I would go back on behalf of BoardGameCo. It's not a critique. I think I am going to go back on behalf of GameFound because it was very productive in that sense. But I don't think I'd go back on behalf of BoardGameCo because it is roughly the size of PAX Unplugged. But I think PAX Unplugged feels more like they're showing off things, and UKG felt a bit more like a lot of stores were there. Lots of booths too, but like there were a lot of game stores with like stock to sell. Combine that with, the fact that the international travel makes, like, the first night I had 2 hours of sleep. I'm running, the second day I'm there, or the first day I'm there, I was running on 2 hours of sleep, which is not fun. The first few days I was falling asleep towards the end of the day in my meetings, which is, again, not great. So the jet lag aspect of things, the cost of it, I very much enjoyed myself there and I had a good time. I am excited to go back. If GameFound were to send me again, I would be excited for the trip. I'd be like, yeah, of course, I'm going to have fun. But I do think that is very PAX Unplugged adjacent in terms of what you're getting out of it. So, like, if you're in the US and you were asking me whether you should go to UKG, I'd say, hey, if you like PAX Unplugged and you want something that's similar, maybe a drop worse, but, like, and international travel, by all means, go for it. So, good, but I don't think it's the same level of touristiness. Like, I think Gen Con and Essen are, like, levels of tourist attractions that you should travel internationally for. UKG, I think, is a very good convention for that part of the world. And that part of the world doesn't mean just, UK on its own, but anywhere in the Europe where it's closer to travel to compared to going, like, if you're in Europe, going to PAX Unplugged is the same in reverse. So those are my overall thoughts on UKG. But I had fun. I played Fate of the Fellowship, which I really enjoyed. I played Realm of Reckoning from IV Games, which I really enjoyed. I played, and again, I need more plays. One play. Sometimes 75% of the time when I play a game the first time and I really enjoyed it, that holds up. Sometimes it does not. So I always like to qualify my plays. I played Tranquility, the Descent, which I thought was good. I don't know whether I like Tranquility more than Tranquility the Descent. Tranquility the Ascent I liked, but it was my least favorite of the series. I think I played other things too, but those are the ones that come to mind. Brian, hello, Professor Meg. ACS, how many of the games in your top 100 do you play a year? Like, how many games slipped through their cracks that are so amazing you couldn't play them last year? That would be a fun little video to do. I might not do it because of shame, but my guess is probably about, at this point, I'd guess that I probably play about 60% of the top 100 every year. Some on a more repeated basis, some less so. I'd have to look through it to actually come up with that number, and if that number is bad enough, that would be not great. But I think in general, the top 100, first of all, historically there's been around 20 to 25% of it is newer stuff every year on a regular basis. So, like, there's some degree of churn, 20 to 25 titles in the top 100, churn each year. So inherently, those first 20, 20, 25 are ones that I've played recently. That's why they're there. The other ones, from the rest of them, if I look at the top, yeah, I'd guess around 60, maybe 70%. I'd have to look through it and see. Dun 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 dun. Let's see. I see. Do you find yourself preferring campaign games or one shot? One shot. One shot, almost always, or shorter campaigns. I think I'm at the point where campaigns that I recognize are harder to table, I'm just going to be getting rid of. My campaign purge this year is going to be, I think, pretty brutal. I think I am. It's hard. There's lots of great games, and the problem is the challenge I have, and it is a challenge, but it is what it is whenever I get rid of stuff, there's always a segment of the internet that's like, oh yeah, Alex is hyping up these games and then getting rid of them. There's only so much time in the day. There's only so much time in the day. I think, like, the Dice Tower approach is almost safer. The Dice Tower just reviews things, and nothing is ever gotten rid of. I mean, they obviously have games they play and games they don't, but they don't talk about it that way. But I started my channel, like, once upon a time, a year and a half ago maybe, I debated, I kind of said that I will no longer be doing games leaving the collection. And a lot of people were like, no, we want that series. And I was like, you know what? I will listen to the fans over the haters, if that makes sense. I mean, the people who are going to, like, peripherally watch my videos and then hate what I do, they're less important than those who watch on a regular basis, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good lesson in life, by the way. Always cater to your fans over your detractors, because your detractors are probably your detractors no matter what you do, and your fans are actually the ones who are enjoying what you do. But that said, yeah, so I always am mindful of getting rid of games that I've liked in any way, shape, or form. I'm always mindful, but it is what it is. I only have so much time or bandwidth. I play a lot of games every year, and I enjoy what I do. But some games can't be kept because they're just, no matter how much I like them, they're just not getting tabled. So we'll see what happens. Asaf, we'll see you at Essen. Yeah, okay, that's Asaf. Lydia and I are very excited. Okay. Ryan, Massive Darkness. And Massive Darkness. What did Ryan say? Ryan Hildebrand said... I don't know how far back I have to go, Ryan. I think you said and Massive Darkness, but I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, they have Massive Darkness. Yes. I don't think of that as successfully. So, for example, Massive Darkness, they had the original, but then they had the follow campaign, which did like, what, 4 or 5 million? And then the follow-up to that did only 2 million. So that, to a certain extent, means that Massive Darkness content may already be hitting a satiating point. Versus Cthulhu, Marvel, and Zombicide all have consistently seen hits again and again and again. So I think those are much, much stronger. Danny Gable, lots of Zombicide out there. Brian, CMON sales of Blood Rage made sense since they aren't making new content. Keep in mind, they do have retail. You always remember, like, retail is something you don't necessarily see, especially if you back it in crowdfunding, but it's a strong retail game. Zychik. Brian, if you bring back Camp Co-op, you have to play Gloomhaven. No. I think Zombicide fatigue is a real thing at the moment, especially among casual fans. Yeah, I love Zombicide, and I have Zombicide fatigue. Let's do the 8th day of the week. I'm catching up. Okay. Okay, just a conversation between Asaf and Meg. Aaron, bring back Camp Co-op with a bang. Campaign for North Africa livestream. That can't end until the game is over. No. For those who don't know, Campaign for North Africa is a long game. Okay. Chaosium Con is about 2 weeks here in Australia. Would you ever attend that? I have never heard of Chaosium Con. I don't think I would. Going to Australia is probably one of the most enduring trips I could possibly make, and I think I'd have to go for something like that was like a lot more important to me than Chaosium Con. Like I don't know if I play Chaosium games. I guess I played that Horror on the Orient Express one, but like I'm not nearly like Chaosium Con could be a 2-hour drive for me, and I'd have to debate whether I have time for it. Going to Australia, I don't think so. Again, there's so many places to travel. There's so many conventions you can go to. I just have to pick and choose. I have to pick and choose. Board Game Officer, what would you rather be? A duck? What would you rather be, or a duck? True or false? Jacob Justice, is there another game you can compare Realm of Reckoning to? I watched a short YouTube video Ivy puts out, and it looks very different. That's a good question. There's drafting, but I don't think that makes me compare it to any game. Aside from the fact that I spent my entire time playing it, making fun of. There was a little inside joke going on where I was comparing it to Seven Wonders the entire time. You had to be there. There's a reason. It was very funny. It was very, very funny, but you had to be there. But outside of that, there's drafting in it, yes. The main idea of Realm of Reckoning is it plays across 3 rounds, and at the end of each round, you're scoring for stuff. The problem is, what you're scoring for is up in the air, because there's 2 parts to the game. At its most basic, let's pretend that there's, I don't know, let's pretend that there's area control scoring, and then there's, I have no clue, I'm making stuff up. The coins you have, okay? So you have area control scoring, and then you have coins in your supply. So right now, none of them are scoring. During the course of the game, you have the opportunity to unlock scoring. So maybe at some point, I earn the ability to choose what gets unlocked. Obviously, the thing I'm going to choose is the thing I'm better at. So if you're doing really well at area control, but I have a ton of coins in my supply, I will unlock the ability to score coins in my supply. So you're fighting for the ability to unlock things, because then you have control over it. But then, once those things are unlocked, they're scoring each round. So now, people can sit there and try to get coins in the supply. So you're kind of fighting 2 different battles. The battle of scoring the stuff that you are doing well at, and the battle of catching up on the things that have already been unlocked by other players. Which has a fascinating little dynamic to it, because sometimes you're like, I unlocked coin scoring. And let's pretend I spent a ton of time and effort and energy doing that. Someone else can be like, well, I'll just get coins now. So you have to balance how worthwhile is it to control what scores, versus to put that same level of energy in just catching up when someone unlocks the scoring. Fascinating little puzzle. I don't know if it's going to hold up as well across 5 plays. I don't know. I really enjoyed the first play. I plan on diving into it soon. I'm hoping to play it tonight. AP, and we don't have it locked in, but like there's tentatively a game night tonight. We'll see what happens. Anyways, yeah, I was intrigued by it, and I'm looking forward to dive back into it. I do wonder about the long-term playability of it. It does feel very good, but I don't have a good game to compare it to. Like, I'm sure that concept has been done, but I'm not thinking of it offhand. Okay. Nat, happy Thursday. Hello, Nat. How's it going? Awake, common man. Pushing wooden meeples and components around a board are miniatures? I don't understand. What would you consider the most family-friendly game? The most family-friendly game? That's such a loaded question. Like, the most of all time, of all the family-friendly games that have ever been created, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Baron Park, though. I'll say that. I think Baron Park is very family-friendly. It plays well at different skill levels. So, like, I've had my 5-year-old play it and enjoy it because they like putting little things together and making little shapes. And I've had adults play it and play competitively. So I'm a big fan of Baron Park. But, I mean, the most family-friendly is a loaded. That's so much responsibility. Alex should live stream play of This War of Mine, Frostpunk, or Dune War for Arrakis. I know one viewer that would want to see that. I don't know if any of those games I'd want to play live stream. Live stream, any kind of playthrough, whether live stream or filmed, I kind of only enjoy them when I know the game really well. Which means in general, when you see me playing a game that was a sponsored playthrough, sometimes I do get into them a lot more. But those are always so much more pressure and work because they're often games that I haven't played a lot before. I often got in like a practice play, either a full game or like half a game just to learn it, and then I'm going straight to a film playthrough. That's so much mental pressure. Like, you have to like know all these rules and from something you've played half a game of. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So again, I do them and I don't mind them, but they're not the best experience. Like, there's like you might actively see me on camera not enjoying myself in a game, and I'll actually enjoy it off camera. It's just the pressure of film playthroughs. Although usually I think that's usually the exception. I think usually you can tell if I'm more into it or not, and I don't try to hide it significantly, but it is what it is. But when I know a game really well, then playing it is just fun. So I really should do more fun film playthroughs. I think that because there's a degree of sponsored content on the channel, fun film playthroughs have taken a back seat to playthroughs that are sponsored content. They just take enough time. And sometimes I just want to hang out with my friends and not be on camera. That's the balance. Speaking of games on the way to the top 100, have you played Arcs? I'm curious what you think. I have not played Arcs. I should play Arcs. Bill Caldwell, I may have missed it. Do you plan to go to Origins? Yes, I do plan on going to Origins. I will be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, leaving for the weekend, and then coming back Sunday with the kids. Nat, Professor Meg. Hey, Meg. I'm doing okay. Happy to be with my husband. How are you? Britt, what have been your top board game destinations, not just conventions, but also shops, places like the Ranch, etc.? Ooh, that's a good question. The Ranch is definitely fun. I would say, speaking of IV Games, I think my IV Games trips are probably my favorite trips at this point. A combination of the people, the ease of the trip, just all around a good time. I really look forward to the IV trips. I do think the Ranch is fantastic. The Gamers Ranch, for those who don't know. Gamma is still one of my favorite conventions to go to consistently, time in, time out. I'm very much looking forward to Dice Tower East this year and there's a lot of conventions I'm looking forward to, but it's been too long since my last just playing games convention. Like, I do Level Up, but Level Up I always have my work hat on. Dice Tower Dice Tower East, I get to go to and then just play games all day, and if I decide to sleep in, I don't care. If I decide to go out somewhere, I don't care. Like, there's no pressure, and it's just playing games, which I don't do that at any other convention. So I should do it more, but I don't. So anyways, Dice Tower East, I'm very much looking forward to. Yeah, I'd say those 4 for right now, but ask me anytime, and they could change. I see. These answers have been super insightful. I'm so curious. Did you ever end up playing Blood on the Clock Tower again? If so, what are your top 2025 games? What are your 2025 thoughts about it? So I have a video coming up. Okay, it's a video. I don't know exactly when it goes up, but I've already filmed it. The video basically is the top 10 games that I would actively rather not play. That's something like the title. But basically what it is it's I go through from the top 100, starting at 1 and counting my way down. I basically go through the top 1,000 games on BGG and see how far I have to get in order to find 10 games that the criteria I put in the video is, if the game is being played, I would rather watch than play. That's the criteria. So it's not that I'd rather play a different game. It's not that I'd rather read a book, watch a video, do anything fun. But I would literally rather watch the game being played and socialize, like I'll socialize with people at the table, over playing the game. I will give you a spoiler that Blood on the Clock Tower is in that video. I also say in that video that I have an opportunity to play it coming up, and I don't know if I'm playing it or not. That opportunity happened. It was at UKGE. Shadowborn Games invited me to come hang out. They said they were playing Blood on the Clock Tower, and I knew when I said yes that depending on the vibe, like, I wasn't going to be the only person sitting it out. But if everyone was playing it, I was going to play, and if a bunch of people were not playing it, I was not going to play. And sure enough, I chose that I would rather watch the game than play it. That said, and again, this other video is already filmed, so this is all like secret information to a video that's going up at some point. That said, my opinion will change on that too. So it's interesting. Blood on the Clock Tower is in that video, but my opinion semi-changes. And also, I will say as well, Blood on the Clock Tower with exclusively people I am friends with and know is a game I'm more willing to play. I just think that that level of hidden deduction with people I don't know well is just not as much fun for me. I will say though that I did have a hard time watching that game and not playing, but that's because of the fact that I am someone who likes talking, as might be evident from this channel that I'm in. I enjoy talking, and it was so hard to watch that game without being able to offer my thoughts and opinions. Not even the fact that I'm watching so I know what's going on, but like sometimes like other players, there were like a few points where other players were like engaged in logical fallacies that has nothing to do with what I know, but I'm just like, that you're wrong, you're so wrong, and I just can't say anything because as a bystander, I just can't give a bystander like just watching the game, I can't say a thing. So it was kind of fun to know what's going on and kind of torturous to not be able to talk during the entire game, outside of being social, of course. So anyways, point is that I don't like Blood on the Clock Tower to the point that I don't love Blood on the Clock Tower to the point that I chose to watch the game rather than play. Professor Meg, sounds like Federation. Oh, I think you said that to me already. Yeah. I don't know. It's Federation. It has a little bit. It has a little bit of Federation. Yeah. Professor Meg, good Nat, getting ready for the con season. Oh my gosh, con season is insane. Nat, you should fly to Vietnam so I can play a board game in person again for the first time in like 8 months. What's the cost to go to Vietnam? I'm open to anything. Until I see the cost. Professor Meg, every season is con season somewhere. I'm itching to come to PAX to level up this year. I'm hoping to visiting the US becomes easier. I hope so too. Brian T, if Alex is going to a remote location to play games, why not Everest or Antarctica? Because that feels like it would be uncomfortable. I don't like the cold. Why would I do that? Vietnam sounds so much better. Asaf, you know your audience, Alex. Yes to live Frostpunk. This war of mine. No. ACS, would like to see a live gameplay of Slay the Spire, the board game. Oh, that could be fun. That could be a fun one to do. I don't know if I would do a co-op, but like the next time I'm doing a solo game, like the solo whatever, live stream, I can see myself doing that. Successful Geek. Hey, all sorry I'm late. Got pulled into work call 11 p.m. till 3 a.m., so moving a bit slow today. You got pulled into a work call from 11 p.m. till 3 a.m.? Wow. Brian, Asaf, that was for you. I tried. Oh, wait, comment, man. I'll rephrase. Oh, it's 156. Wow. Which do you prefer? A more traditional experience where you're using wooden meeples and components or using miniatures and fancy components? It's case by case. Like, I love a good miniatures game, but sometimes I prefer the wooden meeples. My instinctive answer is, by default, I'll say miniatures, but it is case by case, so it's hard to answer. Professor Meg, we need to finish my island. Oh, I gave up on that, Meg. I'm sorry. I mean, I'll do it. I don't think I'm gonna bother doing it on stream. That's just like, if you want to just play it off stream, yeah, sure. Clash of Doom. Which games do you like the most that are 3+ players? So many, so many. Look at my top 100 and pick the games that are 3+ players. It's there's a lot. It's such a wide open category. Nat, you should be sorry. Yes. Okay, hello Brian, Professor Meg, I agree, stream is for us. Oh, I'm 6 minutes behind, okay. Sad I won't see a Dice Tower East successfully. You're not Dice Tower East? Why not? Why aren't you at Dice Tower East? I would totally play games with you. Asaf, Brian T, you're awesome. One day I'll visit Alex and maybe convince him to do Frostpunk live. I would do Frostpunk. I don't think I'd want to do that game live. I think there's a vibe. Again, there's a vibe. We'll see. Professor Meg, and you're right, this War of Mine, there is no chance. Frostpunk, I'm not super opposed to. I'm not opposed to playing it at all. Playing it live is the question. Professor Meg, ONEB is great. ONEB is great. You're right. I forgot about that. I think visiting Nat would be cool this year in Dice Tower East. I think it was with one that had that cool board game cafe restaurant place. I don't know what that means. Asaf first. To be fair, if you get him to play the Dune, I'm not sure he's playing the physical copy yet. I've played physical Dune. I have not played Dune since getting the final version. Oh no, I haven't played the physical copy. You're right. I only played it TTS. I have never played Dune with the physical copy. You're right. Ada Santos. Most annoying game component. I don't know the most annoying. But recently, I will say that, what's the game? Cosmos. Crafting the Cosmos. The pieces are so fiddly that it's hard to actually, like, it's annoying. It is annoying. Like, I like playing it on Board Game Arena more. Like, if you watch my review, I'm like, the fiddliness of the experience was actually annoying, and it's marginally better on Board Game Arena because of that. Okay. Hello, Joey. Brian, Alex at UKG, were you able to meet some creators that don't make it to US cons? Yes, I met with, I met Mark Dainty, who I have met before, but he hasn't come to the US often. So I met Mark Dainty. He's a lovely, lovely fellow. I met Board Game Bullocks, who I don't know him as well, but it was great interacting with him for a few minutes. I saw Paul Grogan, but I didn't actually interact with him. Oh, I also got to meet, in fact, I played Ivy Games. I played with Paula Deming, who I've met plenty of times, but Matthew Jude, who I think I met Matthew Jude at a Steam Forged event, like the first one they ever did. But I haven't seen, I didn't really know him that well then, and I probably said hi and that's it. Versus this time around, I really, I like Matthew Jude a lot. I had a great opportunity to talk with him. I I am actively sad that Matthew Jude isn't someone that I get to interact with more, because it was very lovely talking to him. Akidural, which board games based on movies do you think turned out better than the movies themselves? Are there board games based on movies that turned out better than the... Wait, which board games based... Oh, board games based on movies do you think turned out better than the movies themselves? Is that a long list? I don't know if I can think of any offhand. Very possibly, but I don't know. I don't know if I can think of any board games based on movies that turned out better than the movies. Like, obviously, Lord of the Rings has a ton, but, like, I think Lord of the Rings movies are fantastic. So I don't have a long list there. Jacob Justice, have you played Orleans? Just saw they have a big box up for pre-order. I love Orleans. I need to play it more. It's been a while. I love Orleans. I see. That makes sense. I hope the next game goes well. Have you thought of being a storyteller instead? I far prefer storytelling and watching the story play out rather than actively social inducing. Yeah, this is actually a conversation we had at the event. We were talking about it because the storyteller loved the game. And I was saying how it does feel like it's being the storyteller, arguably, although I would have the same problem of seeing logic incorrectly playing out and feeling the need to correct it. Because whether I'm bad or good, I don't care. But like, I like being able to have those logical conversations, and as a storyteller, I wouldn't be able to either. But we did talk about how Blood on the Clock Tower, the people who are the most active proponents of Blood on the Clock Tower, in my experience, I'm not saying across the board, are the people that are the storytellers. Which does make me think, this is what I said at the night, I said, it just does make me think that playing the storyteller is the most fun, and for everyone else, it's a little less so. And literally the storyteller was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, the storyteller was like a little sheepish grin. He's like, yeah, I don't really like participating. I just like being the storyteller. That said, I would personally have a problem. And also, I hate the fact that the storyteller can make an artificial choice as to whether things, and it depends on the role, depends on the system, but there's times the storyteller can just decide something happens, and I hate that. That bothers me a lot. Successful. My flight to and from Vietnam with my wife is $4,500. I will not be going to Vietnam. Professor Meg, Alex, can you promote the game show for Tuesday? Oh, guys, there's a game show going up Tuesday, supposedly. We'll see if it happens. But as of right now, Jenna will be joining for the game show on Tuesday. So this Tuesday, 1 p.m. Next week, the live stream will not be Thursday. Instead, it will be Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. You're going to Vietnam in July, so missing Nest Out East? What do you think about the newest trend of making the big boxes of existing games? I mean, it's an old trend. It's just coming back. I think constantly, in every industry, people are always looking for opportunities to repackage something that sells well because it's easy money. It makes sense. Jacob Justice, $5. Thank you for the super chat. How good are you at board games? Do not be humble. If you have to depend on you winning a board game, which game are you going to play? Galaxy Truckers. I think it's a random choice, but like there are a bunch of games. Oh, Expeditions. I don't know if I've ever lost Expeditions. I don't think I've ever lost Expeditions. Galaxy Truckers. The main thing is who are you playing against? That's the question. But I don't think I've ever lost Expeditions. Galaxy Trucker, I'm definitely very good at. Tigers and Euphrates, I'm very good at. There's another new one that I realized that I haven't really lost yet. There's one recently. Darn, I have to look through my played games. There's a relatively new game that I kind of was playing for like the 5th time, whatever. I was like, I don't think I've lost this yet. But I don't know what game it is, so I'd have to look. But yeah, those are all options. And as far as how good I'm at games in general, I think I'm slightly above average, if I had to guess. And I think that comes with the territory of playing as many games as I do. But I'm not. I'm far from like, oh my gosh, I'm going to dominate you in games. No, like, when I go to the WSBG, the Real Series of Board Gaming, I don't make it very far. I think I am good at games. I do not think I am an expert at any one game. I would say that my average skill level is probably above the norm, whatever the norm is. But I don't think there's many games where I'm a master of that game. And for sure, I don't think I'm like the best ever. I just think I'm pretty decent. That's what I'd say. So if we're grading based on a percentile, I'd guess that I am in the. If you're producing a full aggregate of people's scores on games, I would guess I'm in the 65 to 75th percentile, maybe higher. I just don't know. I'd have to like see. I don't know. It's hard to answer. 2,000 per person sounds about right. I don't think I want to go to Vietnam anymore. Not. Resident Evil board game is better than the movie. Yeah, but that's based on the video game. Yeah, I was almost about to agree with you, but that's based on the video game. That's not a fair answer. When is your next play of Divided Impera? Oh my gosh, I don't know, but I'm happy to play it whenever. Ryan T. Lowbar. Jason Brown, I was very disappointed with my island. I forced it to finish it, but I didn't land with anyone. Yeah, I think I'm in mission 16 or 15 or something like that, and I don't feel the need to finish it anymore. Kolkatan, exactly. Nat, the real-life storyteller must just decide when something happens to me too, and I also very much don't like it. At least know the most recent choices. Okay. When is Jenna Friday? Vindication must be played. This is a Jenna conversation. I have given up on Jenna Fridays. They were a theoretical idea once upon a time, and in actuality, I am just a sad, sad person. Professor Mag, do you want to promote the other game shows too? What other game shows? Oh, at Dice Tower East. If you are going to Dice Tower East, or if you're going to CharCon, not RageCon. If you're going to CharCon or Dice Tower East, Meg will be running a game show at both of those live. I'll be there, but like she's doing all the work. I'm just going to be like pointing at things. Yeah, so if you're going to Dice Tower East or CharCon, or this Tuesday on the show, Meg will be running game shows. Crazy Dave, no doorbell yet. Is it too late? No, I told you, it wouldn't be a doorbell. It might be outside. It might actively be outside. I have no idea. What do my notifications say? Nope. Got nothing. Cool. Professor Meg, Jenna is allegedly coming to visit me in late August. I love Jenna. I do not believe it for a second. I'm sorry, Jenna, if you're watching this, know that I care about you. You're amazing. You're awesome. I don't believe it until it happens. Ryan, DI has no retail presence in Canada, which makes it really hard to play. Do they even make a retail version? I don't know. So that's big. I've never lost Distilled across 10 plays. Nice. Most games across the board I lose, but for some reason that game clicks for me. Brian T, yes please, Mag. Nat, Alex, if you're actually keen on visiting, you wouldn't be paying. I will go back to chat. Burke, thought on Agricola Special Edition. Okay, now curious, what's your favorite social deduction game? I love One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I think One Night Ultimate Werewolf is fantastic. I love the experience of it in many, many ways. But I will say, I think all social deduction games for me, I like them with the people I know. I don't like them with people I don't know. That obviously doesn't mean you can't introduce new people to your game group, whatever it is, but like, to me, I have so much more fun when I'm like, you're an effing liar. You are full of it. Like, knowing the person at the table makes it so much more fun. When you don't know the person at the table, it's like, I don't know your cues. Maybe you're a great liar. Maybe not. I've never met you. I have no clue how to be. My first game of Blood on the Clock Tower. And again, this doesn't mean it's a bad game, but bad experience for me. The person next to me acted fishy the entire time. All they would do was just say things that made them look bad. And they got killed pretty quickly. But like the entire time, I was like, there's a person in my group that I just know that that's how they are. Good or bad, they are always making themselves a target. And that helps to know. Versus I was like, you could be a really good player who likes to stir the pot, which is something that I like knowing that. Or you could just be someone who's bad at the game. I don't know what chances to take, so let's vote for you dying. So like, I like playing social deduction against the people I know the most. But I do like One Night Ultimate Werewolf. How do you approach a hidden trader game that you don't know how to play yet and you are the trader right away? That is harsh. It is harsh. I don't have an easy answer. I don't. If I'm not mistaken, Meg, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm not mistaken, this is why you don't like Blood on the Clock Tower. Or was it a different game? Because I have a vague recollection of the story. And again, Meg, correct me if I'm wrong. I vaguely recall that... maybe it's not even Meg. Maybe it's someone else's. Meg, you can say in the chat this is your story. But someone... You were playing a game of Blood on the Clock Tower or another social deduction game, and you literally told the person, like, I just don't want to be, like, the bad person, and they made you the demon, or you were the demon, and so you're like, I'm signed up for a terrible experience. But it is weird, because you could tell the storyteller that, and they could control for that. You can't tell the group that, obviously, because if you tell the group that, they're like, okay, well, we know this person isn't. But call me on speaker. Okay, this is going to end the chat on this. Okay, we're going to end the chat on this, but we're going to go ahead and speaker. Okay, your story.
Hello?
Hello, you're on speaker.
This is like very, very quickly, but I had two bad experiences. So one of them was that I played One Night Ultimate Werewolf Legacy?
Okay.
So I was invited to a legacy night with like a group of a lot of people, and in that game, if you die and you're killed, you cannot speak. And it was my first night ever hanging out with any of these people as a game night, and they killed me every single night, 3 nights in a row, like 3 different things in a row, that I could not speak the entire game night, even though I wasn't bad. So that happened, but then also with Blood on the Clock Tower, my first game, I was the demon, and the person, like, 2 to the left of me was the other person, the other bad person, and the person in between us was the one that can tell if someone bad is next to them. And so it was my first time playing and the other bad person's first time playing, and we met with the person, the storyteller, before anyone else joined the game, and we said, the worst possible thing, since we don't know what we're doing, is to be these two roles. And he was just like, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the story, I thought. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, I don't...
And then it went pretty quickly.
Cool. Well, that's the story. That is how to not have your first social deduction game. And with that,
Bye.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You are all delightful human beings. It's always good to she's gone. Okay, cool. Anyways, she's gone now. It's 2:10. I'm going to go get things done because I have a call in 20 minutes and then I have to also film a video. I'm running out of time. It's fun though. I am having fun. I just need to get things done. Anyways, thanks so much for joining us for the live stream again. We will be back Tuesday with the game show. Nothing on Thursday though, because only one live a week, at least as of right now. And then we'll see how it goes. Then Origins coming up. If you are going to Origins, feel free to stop me, say hi, because I always enjoy interacting. It is fun. But Origins, I'll be at Origins, I'll be at Dice Tower East, I'll be at CharCon, and I'll be at Gen Con. I need to rethink most of my life decisions. But until then, we're going to have fun at convention season. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo. And as always, I hope you have a good one.